Am I in the wrong for dumping my girlfriend after she expected me to pay for everyone on her birthday? I, 24 male, and my girlfriend, 24 female, have been dating for 4 years. On my girlfriend's 24th birthday 2 weeks ago, I booked a table at a pretty nice restaurant for me, her, and 4 of her friends. I want to clarify beforehand that I earn quite a bit more than my girlfriend. I cover all rent and utilities for our one apartment, while she covers household expenses like groceries and such. While at the restaurant, I noticed how she and all of her friends ordered some of the most expensive items on the menu. At the time, I thought I would only be covering mine and my girlfriend's bill, so I wasn't really concerned. When the bill arrived, the waiter asked if I would like to split the bill. I said yes. I told the waiter what my girlfriend and I ordered would be on me, and the rest should be decided between her friends. The bill totaled around 1,100 euros. I remember the smiles being wiped off of their faces as soon as I said that. I ended up paying for my girlfriend and I's food while her friends paid for theirs. I remember the car ride home being awfully silent. I kept asking my girlfriend if there was something wrong, but she kept insisting that she was just tired. And no, she wasn't just tired. My girlfriend ended up giving me the silent treatment for the next week. I would keep asking her if something was wrong, but she would always refuse to say what the issue was. The thought of me not paying, being the culprit, kept creeping into my mind, but I would always reassure myself by telling myself my girlfriend wouldn't be dumb enough to expect me to pay for everyone's food. I just lost it last Monday and demanded an answer from her. She ended up telling me that I embarrassed her in front of her friends by not paying for everyone. I asked her why it was my responsibility to pay. She told me that since I organized everything and I was the man, I was obliged to pay for everyone. We ended up getting into a heated argument, and I ended up staying at my parents' house for the next couple of days to gather my thoughts. I came home last Friday and her attitude towards me didn't change one bit. When I confronted her again, she told me to transfer the money her friends paid for the food, and only then would she talk to me. We got into another heated argument and I broke up with her then and there, telling her to pack her things. While leaving, she called me a broke boy and wished me good luck in finding another girlfriend with my brokey mentality. I almost immediately regretted dumping her on the spot for something that in the grand scheme of things is really small. She sent me an apology yesterday for calling me those names, but she insisted on me paying back her friends if I wanted to make our relationship work. I've been a mess since. I don't want to throw away 4 years with someone that I consider to be a future mother of my kids. I could have given her friends a heads up that I wouldn't be covering for them, and I know that's completely my fault. But her behavior over the past 2 weeks has also been quite concerning to me. But again, I love her too much for this situation to be the end of our relationship. I just want to swallow my pride and send her friends the money and forget about everything. Did I overreact? Am I in the wrong here?
There was this time that I was taking a midnight flight home, and the second I boarded the plane, I just knocked out because I was so tired. I woke up thinking that I took a really quick nap, but then the cabin lights were on and I thought that they were serving us dinner, but then the flight attendants were giving us cookies, which is weird because it's supposed to be dinner time. And when I checked my phone, it had been 3 hours since we boarded the plane, and apparently we're still on the ground. We're supposed to be over the ocean by now. But then I kept hearing this weird noise from the plane, probably from the engine or something, and that didn't sound too good. But eventually they announced that our flight would be canceled and that Philippine Airlines would give us free accommodation and food and will reschedule us for the next available flight, which would be at midnight. So because the flight was canceled and I was all alone, I was kind of scared, so I decided to make a little group, a little gang, okay? Just to make sure that I wouldn't miss the next flight, okay? I was really trying to find people my age so that I could make some friends, but apparently most people were traveling with their families. So I eventually make a group, and it consisted of me, the Lola, the old lady, who sat next to me on the plane, and then a family of 4. So there were 6 of us. The Lola, who was sitting next to me on the plane, she's like 80 years old and she was traveling alone. So the whole time I just stayed with her and I just helped her with everything just to make things easier for her. Okay, now it's 6 a.m. and we're in line waiting for the airlines to give us our hotel assignments. And this whole time, Lola just assumed that me and her would be roomies, which I understand because, she's old and alone and she's probably scared and she doesn't know what to do. But at the same time, I was considering my safety. She is a stranger, and I've heard so many horror stories at the airport of people helping others, especially elders, and then things just go bad, okay? And it turns out to be something like drug related. So I got scared and I'm calling my dad and he's telling me to not share a room with her and that I need to get my own room. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Okay, I'll figure it out. But I still felt bad because she is old and she does need help. And even though I couldn't share a room with her, I still wanted to make sure that she would be okay. So I asked the other family in our little group if it was okay if Lola stayed with them. And they were like, yeah, sure, no problem. So thank God for them. Anyways, I managed to get our rooms right next to each other at the hotel just in case we needed to contact each other if we knew any updates regarding our flight. So we get to the hotel at 8 a.m. and we're just there for the whole day. And we are surviving off of whatever we have in our freaking carry-on bags because we left our checked bags at the airport. So we were there for about a good 12 hours and we make our way back to the airport around 8 p.m. So we get to the airport, and everyone else from the flight the other night is there again, and it's just really crowded. And as we're in line to get our new boarding passes, this lady from our flight who's talking really, really loud, and she's telling people that she is not getting on this new flight because she feels that there is something wrong and that something bad is going to happen like last night. And everyone around was just looking at her like, what the heck is going on? What the heck is she on, having caused a commotion in the middle of the airport? What does she mean? What is she talking about? You know how at the airport, when you make a joke about a bomb, they are going to put you in handcuffs and escort you out of the airport? That is what they should have done to this woman, okay? Because the amount of fear that she instilled in all of us was overwhelming. Even I was scared, okay? I was on the verge of having a panic attack. I was taking deep breaths and praying to God, please let me get home safe and sound in one piece. I'm not gonna care about what this lady says. And then it's midnight and we still haven't boarded the flight. Time passes and it's already 3 a.m. and I'm about to spiral because I'm letting that woman from earlier, I'm letting her voice get into my head. Because what is wrong? Why have we not boarded yet? What is wrong with this plane? But then like a few minutes later, they announced that we could start boarding. So thank God. So we finally board this plane and me and Lola are seated next to each other again. And she tells me to ask one of our other friends for Tylenol. So I walk to the front of the plane and I get the Tylenol. This time around, I made sure that I was not gonna fall asleep until I knew that this plane was up in the sky. So we finally take off, we get served our dinner, and I was able to sleep like a baby for 6 hours. So when I wake up from my 6 hours of sleep, Lola is just looking at me and I'm just smiling back at her awkwardly. And she's like, oh, buti ka pa, like good for you. You were able to sleep for a really long time. And I asked her if she was able to sleep and she was like, no, I've been up this whole time. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, just close your eyes. I even offered to help her with her headphones and like set up the little TV on the plane so that she could watch a movie and potentially fall asleep. But she said no. So I get up to go to the bathroom, and when I come back to my seat, Lola looks so frantic. She tells me to get a cup of water for her. So I do that. And when I come back to my seat again, she is clenching her chest and she's breathing heavily. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And she's telling me that her chest hurts. So now I'm all frantic and I managed to get one of the flight attendants over. And I'm telling them like, Lola said that her chest hurts. And the flight attendant is asking Lola if they should ask for any medical professionals on board. And Lola's like, no, I think I'll be okay. And then a guy sitting across from me leans over and asks Lola if she takes any maintenance meds. And Lola's like, yeah, I do, but I haven't taken it in the past 24 hours because they're in my checked bag. And then I'm like, whoa, hold up. If she had told me that, I would have done something earlier, okay? I would have asked the airlines to get her bag and get her medicine. She did not tell me that. And she tells this guy that all she took recently was a Tylenol. This guy looks at me and he's like, she should not have put her medicine in the checked bag. And I'm like, I know. And then he says, she also shouldn't have taken the Tylenol. And I'm like, yeah, she shouldn't have taken the Tylenol. And I got so scared because I gave her the Tylenol. But then again, she asked for it, but still. And what if that was the reason for her chest pain? I was just so scared. And then Lola kept asking me how many more hours until we land, and I'm like, 6. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah. Are you gonna be okay? She's like, I'm just gonna try to sleep. And I'm like, okay, you go do that. With 6 hours left on this flight, I was tripping, okay? Because what if we needed to do an emergency landing? Where would we land? We're literally in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, okay? Where? And then that lady from the airport who's like, oh, something bad's gonna happen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Anyways, Lola wasn't able to sleep the entire flight, but we did make it home safe and sound. So, moral of the story, keep your medicine in your carry-on bags. Maybe bring some sleeping pills with you if you go on a long-haul flight. And pray. Yeah.
My prom date ditched me without telling me. So there's 2 main people you need to know to get this story. First, there's a guy, let's call him Ethan. And there's a girl, let's call her Claire. So me and Ethan have known each other for a long time. We were never really friends, we never knew each other that well, but we had been snapping for a long time. And recently, me and Ethan had been snapping, like, back and forth. Like, we were, like, snapping, right? So one Friday night, he's like, hey, like, I'm having a party tonight. You trying to come? Of course, me. Obviously, I'm going to say yes. I mean, this boy, like, Ethan, he's so attractive, guys. Like, I think he's gorgeous. I always will. He is a grade younger, though. And I'm a senior in high school, which makes him a junior. But whatever. I was like, okay, yes. Like, I'm coming. Like, I'll be there. I get a ride from my friend Maddie. We have the same name, so, like, twins. I'm rooming with her next year. She takes me to this party. Me and Ethan talk a little bit here and there, but I'm not really talking to him that much. However, he ended up giving me a ride home, and he was like, if you ever want to, like, hang out, like, text me. So the next couple days go by, he texts me, what you doing, like, want to do something tonight? I'm pretty sure we just got Chipotle. And then I ended up going back to his house, and his family was talking to me and all this stuff, but, like, they were giving me, like, relationship vibes, and, like, guys, like, I don't want that. Like, I just got out of a relationship a couple months ago. I'm not looking for anything like that. But I was like, okay, whatever. Like, it's chill. Like, I'm sure that's not what he wants either. He also got out of a relationship recently, and a lot sooner than I did. But it was fine. We had fun. We hung out again, I think 2 more times. Then, this one night, I was about to leave. He was driving me home, and he kissed me goodbye. It was a really good kiss, actually. A very good kisser. Good for him. Okay. And just to escalate things a little bit more, Take My Breath Away was playing. Like, it was like a movie scene. Like, I don't know what was going on. My arms, they're so tired. But it was like, the scene was set, okay? The scene was set, let me tell you that. The next day, this boy, Ethan, doesn't respond for a long time. Mind you, in these few couple days that we've been hanging out, we decided that we were going to prom together. We had decided that we were going to prom together. We pinky promised that we would not cancel and that we were going. Like, we were locked into prom, okay? He didn't have a date. I didn't have a date. Like, we were going to prom together. Pinky promised twice. You don't break pinky promises, like, unless you're, like, insane. You don't break a pinky promise. But whatever. Anyway, the day after the kiss, he wasn't responding the entire day. Nothing. No text. I think I was undelivered for, like, 20 hours. When I finally got a response. It was dry, whatever. So, a couple days go by, we're barely snapping. I'm like, okay, like, this boy, like, where is he at? Like, what's he doing? I start to get texts from my friends. They're all like, Ethan is going to prom with Claire. Claire is a very pretty girl who goes to another school. My response obviously was, no, he's not. I'm going to prom with Ethan. I'd been going around saying that I was going to prom with Ethan. Ethan was going around saying that he was going to prom with Claire. But the only person that Ethan did not say or did not tell he was going to prom with Claire was to me. Ethan was not going to inform me that he was going to prom with another girl. Everybody else knew, except for me. Sometimes I genuinely do not understand what goes through guys' heads. And I don't think they do either. So finally I text Ethan. I say, WTF, you're going to prom with Claire? He doesn't respond for hours. The end of the day comes. I get a, yeah, but there's more than that. Like, I'm listening. So I said, okay, I'm listening. Again, a whole another night, a whole another day goes by. End of the next day, he responds. This whole paragraph about how it was just too stressful with me and he thought that I wanted a relationship, and I had to stop him right there. I do not want a relationship with a junior. I don't want a relationship with anybody, but especially not a junior. And I told him that his ego was way too high because not every girl wants him. Boys need to be humbled. Why do we not tell them this more often? Not every girl you talk to wants you. Yeah, you're cute. I'll give you that. You were sweet while we were talking, but that doesn't mean I want to date you. That's not what that means. I'm going to college in a couple months, and you're going to be in high school. I do not want you. But you don't cancel prom. And if you're going to cancel prom, maybe tell the girl that you're supposed to go with that you're canceling.
I got scammed pretty bad recently, so let's be transparent about it. If you see this and you know that it's about you, know that there's no hatred in this, but I'm going to be transparent with my audience, unlike you are with yours, because that bullshit doesn't fly over here. But the TikTok algorithm has changed recently, if anyone has noticed, and it's a little bit rough. So me and one of my really good friends, who is another content creator, decided that from one of our favorite, at the time, influencer who really posts like tips and tricks for social media people, she was offering a service of personalized audits of your Instagram and your TikTok. Originally, she sells them for $228, but they were on sale for $70. We were like, perfect, let's get it. You pay it, you send over your social media platforms, and she goes through them and tells you what is working and what's not working. To say we were excited was an understatement. We were checking our emails every single day for this audit, thinking that it was going to be this holy grail, tell us what's working, tell us what's not working. And then we got the audits. And almost instantly, we had realized that we had pretty much received the exact same audit. The craziest part about that is that we are completely two different content creators. I am a beauty lifestyle influencer with a completely different audience, completely different engagement, completely different following. She is a mom in nursing school. So to receive the exact same audit was kind of shocking. It was very clear that these audits were templates that are copy and pasted, and then there's little things that are tweaked, but not tweaked enough to where it's actually about your personal platform. And I was quite shocked because prior to buying this audit, I had went through the reviews on it and there was outstanding reviews, nothing below 4 stars. She had all 5 stars, people loved it. And then unfortunately I found out why that was the case. This is what pissed me off. After you're emailed your audit, you're also emailed this page that's like, oh, leave a review. So I left a very honest review, a very nice honest review. For business, I learned that for every negative comment you give 3 positives. So I started off the review, and I wish I had a screenshot of the review, and I'll tell you why, because the review no longer exists. You could put 2 and 2 together already. So I leave this review, I gave it 3 stars, and I said as much as this was very, very helpful, it was kind of like upsetting that audits are copy and pasted. It did not give me the vibes that you went to my profile and watched my videos and went through my analytics and the algorithm for me and then broke down what specifically wasn't working for me. Didn't say anything hateful, I simply stated the truth. So after posting that review, I want to say within an hour to 2 hours, I received an email from the girl. I have the email, I don't know if I want to put this in here though, but it was basically like, I appreciate the feedback. Basically what the audits are is general to root problem solution. So basically what she's saying is that all content creators on a general basis have the same root issue, and that's why our audits are the same. But then I wouldn't call that a personalized social media audit if you were just going to tell me the exact same thing that you told somebody else with a whole different kind of platform. Skip past that BS. Woosah, because I'm getting worked up. When I received that email, I had this feeling, and I had said to my friend Ange, do you think she deleted my review? And I go on her profile, and she had deleted my review. That's when it clicked to me. I was wondering why I was so upset by this audit, and there was all these other people who weren't with these 5-star reviews. How many reviews did you get like mine that you deleted? And as another business owner, that is such fucking bad business. Like as a business owner, if somebody left me a review like that, very nice but very honest, I would have looked at that and been like, okay, I need to fix some things. I'm not giving satisfactory work. Even if 1,000 people like it and 2 people don't, okay, well now I know that people like this don't like it. I can adjust it however. But you then send me a BS email trying to explain the reason why the audits are the way that they are, trying to justify that you send templates out with a little bit of a tweak for almost $100, let alone that's on sale. So you actually sell this for $228. You sell a template for $228. You're a money grab business. You delete anything under 4 stars. How fucking shady is that? Really, I'm getting stress hives. As a business owner, I don't get it. Constructive criticism is what grows a business. It's what tells you what works and what doesn't work. I didn't email back. I just unfollowed the girl because when I tell you that me and my friend looked up to this girl for so long, we loved her content. We loved the little tips and tricks she gave us. And so when we ordered this audit, we were so excited, and to be so let down and then to see the true shady side of her, I was like, wow. I wonder, God forbid, how many other content creators have come to you for those audits and got the reviews deleted. Nobody likes shady business, especially not here on social media. So moral of the story, if you're a content creator like myself, please be careful of the people you look up to on this app. Please be careful of the things that you buy from people on this app, because I went and looked at the reviews and thought they were amazing. All I saw was amazing reviews. Come to find out that the bad reviews get deleted. At this point, I don't want my money back. I don't want a new audit. I don't want anything. I'm going to be very transparent with my audience about what happens to me, because it could always happen to them. And God forbid, I hope they never get an audit from you.
I sent an anonymous letter to my dad just to mess with his head because I hate him. Story time! So my dad is just not a nice person. You can fill in the gaps with whatever that means to you. Kindest of man to his children from his first 2 marriages. However, within the community, he is so well respected. He will go to great lengths to keep up these appearances. He is a retired policeman, a devout Christian, and his third wife and third set of children are all seemingly unaware of the type of person that he truly is. So my dad has 7 children in total from all marriages. And because he's such a top-class guy, he's kept his child from his first marriage a secret from his wife now. Tell the truth. I've basically had no contact with my dad or any of my biological family for about 5 years now. My dad always told me when I was younger that if anything got out about the type of person he was, he would himself and write in the letter that it was all my fault. I've kept his secrets for coming up 30 years now. And over the past couple of years, I've been going to therapy, working on myself, and it's really been helping me work through all the shame and guilt that was imposed on me from my childhood. But now I am ready to fuck shit up. I have this overwhelming need for justice. I have a lot of rage going on. If I wanted real life legal justice, I couldn't do that because the statute of limitations is long gone now. Thus, I got my own idea. I decided I was going to do everything within my power to mess with him. I wanted this man to feel afraid. My mascara is drier than the Sahara right now. I want him to experience fear, paranoia, anxiety. I don't really even care if it brings on his demise within the community. It's actually kind of what I'm going for. I'm literally sitting here with a bowl of popcorn waiting for it all to go down. So I sent him a card mailed from a far away post office. Because, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. Made sure to not include a return address. So on the card, it was plain white and had black text that said, "Thinking of you." And I printed out a picture of a flower. Specifically a poisonous flower. And then inside I wrote, "I remember, do you?" And then I tore a page from the Bible, which just, can I say, felt very wrong to do. It was from Luke and highlighted the following verse. "For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad." Luke 8:17. I thought the card and its context were quite poetic, and I sent it so that it would arrive on his birthday, so he'd open it just thinking that it was a nice birthday card. Here's some paranoia. I plan to continue to send things to him just randomly, sporadically, nothing too close together, but not far enough so he forgets. I've actually made a journal. So anytime I get a nice little idea, I can make sure that I don't forget it. I lived in fear of him for literally all my life. It feels really, really good that I can return the favour.
Am I the astronaut for telling my sister-in-law she's not welcome near my baby? My sister-in-law cannot physically have children, but she did adopt her daughter 11 years ago. Her daughter is 12. About 2 years ago, she started harping on her husband a lot about wanting to adopt another baby, and he was never on board. It wasn't too long after she started expressing her desire to adopt another baby that I fell pregnant. At first, my sister-in-law just didn't say much of anything to me. When I was around 5 months along, she really started effing with me. She started inviting me over all the time and often put it in my head that I wasn't capable of taking care of a child because I have a history of depression. She was just constantly saying, "I'm worried about you," or "I fear you will have postpartum psychosis." And she said everything in such a way that I actually started believing her. It with my head nearly every night. This continued until I was nearly at my due date, but it always amped up a little every time. Like her last couple of comments were, "I'm not sure if you can handle it, and if something goes wrong, I'm going to have to take my brother for custody of the baby." And, "You know I will take custody of the baby if you can't handle it." And it got on my head so much that I stupidly thought she was just showing concern and not being a manipulative. She whipped out the C word. I mean, it's warranted here. It's warranted here. Anyway, I gave birth in October, and my sister-in-law came over to see the baby when she was about 2 weeks old. When she was holding her, she started to cry, and I went to take her back, and she shooed me away and said, "No, she's fine," and just started bouncing my kid until she eventually fell asleep. Unfortunately, I did have PPD, and I just didn't say anything. I clammed up, and as soon as she left 2 hours later, I lost it, bawled my eyes out while holding my daughter, and honestly, it made my PPD worse, if anything. Because of that interaction, I didn't want anyone near my daughter or to hold her. I ended up checking myself into therapy. I'm loads better now, but through therapy, I've developed a very large, overdue, shiny spine. And through therapy and some realization, I can now see that my sister-in-law was using manipulation tactics to make me feel less than, so I would give her custody of my daughter. Well, She asked me last week if she could come steer the baby away for some snuggles. I told her no. She asked why. And I was honest and said that I don't trust her because of all of her comments throughout my pregnancy and her refusal to hand my daughter back to me like I requested when she was there. So no, she wasn't allowed around my baby at all. She argued that I can't just cut her off with no warning and that this just proves that I was right and that I am clearly having a manic episode, and told me that I'm simply unable to see that I'm potentially putting my baby in danger and that I should be allowing family, aka her, to take the baby so I can get my head on right. I blocked her off everything, but she's getting my mother-in-law involved and causing problems for my husband. Am I the astronaut?
You want to know who has genuinely changed the dating? So sorry, I just hate when I mispronounce words. The dating game for me, who's genuinely changed it for me. My best friend's boyfriend. The reason why is because now I get an inside look in the male's brain of like the dating world. Let's call him Justin. I'll be like, Justin, tell me if I'm fucking crazy right now. Like, tell me if I'm fucking crazy. And he'll be like, yeah, you're fucking crazy. Or he'll be like, no, like that is crazy of that guy to do that. Also, he gives me the best fucking advice because he's a straight man and he's on, like, he wants to see me win. He doesn't give a fuck about these guys. So he's gonna be brutally honest with me. There have been like several times where I was like, Justin, like this guy came over yesterday and like we were just making out and then he like came all over my hand and like then he left in a hurry and hasn't texted me since. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, this man's in my head now since he hasn't texted me. That's dead ass a true story. That man came in my hand real quick. I'm so evil for mentioning that and I don't give a fuck. My best friend will be sitting there too and I get her advice and then I get his advice. So it's like I get the girl's advice, obviously, like the girls with the girls, but then I'm like, from a male's brain, like it's just such a different world in there. My best friend will be like, oh, that happened because he just like really likes you and he's embarrassed to text you. And then Justin's like, no, he probably actually just like got what he wanted from you and that was that. I said, Justin, fucking relax. I'm still a woman at the end of the day, so I have feelings. Like, he's not wrong. I will say sometimes the honesty, like, from Justin does hurt. Because, like, my dumbass thought it was a great idea to, like, let's go around the table and, like, let's play our red flags. Like, everyone say our red flags. When Justin, like, mentioned my red flag, like, I haven't stopped thinking about that since. And every time I see him, I'm like, remember when you said that about me? Like, remember when you said that about me? So having a straight man like help you in the dating game is not for the fucking weak. They're really fucking honest and sometimes that really hurts my feelings, but it's like whatever. I'd rather that than just be like out here clueless thinking like I'm doing the damn thing. And there's been several times where Justin had to like humble me. I'm like, no, like I don't give a fuck, like I'm doing it like this. And Justin's like, if I was him, I would think that's so weird. Like I wouldn't want to speak to someone who acted like that. And I'm like, oh my, and then my best friend's like, he's not wrong, like he's not wrong. But Justin is now just so crucial to my dating game. He's also crucial to like my best friend's dating game. Not the one he's dating. That'd be fucking weird. Nicole. I'll be like, wait, let me ask Justin. Like, let me get Justin's opinion. And I FaceTime my best friend and him and like I get both of their opinions and I'm like, well, Justin said this. Like we're all in a group FaceTime. I'm like, God, Justin's not wrong, Nicole. Like, Justin's not wrong. But it's a little fucking dangerous because like now I get a look inside the male's brain and I get to have a little bit more calculated decisions, like, ooh. But he also makes me feel really justified when I'm like, no, I'm leaving him. He's like, yeah, you should fucking leave him. I assume this is like what having a brother would be like. I don't have one of those, so I assume it would be like something like that. But it has changed my dating game, and I highly recommend getting a straight man on your side who just wants to see you win. Like, it's game changer in the dating game.
I kicked out my brother and his pregnant girlfriend because every time. So for some reference, my brother lived with me and he had his own room. Sometimes I charged him rent, sometimes I just left it depending on how high the bills were that month. Most of the time I didn't because I felt bad because he didn't have a job and it made me feel really, really bad. But despite this, I never really made any house rules, never expected him to follow anything. You know, regardless of me letting him live in my house rent free, not paying anything, I had all the food shops. We have butted heads so much over the past years because he will just bring random people to my house. It'll usually be when I've been doing like long shifts and he'll bring his friends over, they'll be drinking, playing loud music. I'm talking to like 2, 3, 4 a.m. These are not acceptable hours. So yesterday, I genuinely thought my brother had gone missing. I hadn't heard from him for like 3 and 4 days. Good. I have a Ring doorbell so I can see what's going on pretty much all the time. And I see on the camera that he brings a girl over. And I had never seen this girl before, didn't have a clue who she was. He was sneaking her into the house. And for reference, this was not his girlfriend. It was actually the next morning that I saw this footage and went downstairs. He was in the living room on his own. So I confronted him as to why he was bringing another girl over, why he was on his own with another girl when he had a girlfriend. So many variables. And I was like, Steve, I've told you so many times I don't like you bringing random people over to my house, especially so late in the night. So after a long back and forth, he yelled out she was pregnant. Okay. And I was like, by you or by someone else? So I later found out that he'd actually been cheating on his girlfriend with this girl, accidentally got her pregnant. I was planning on running them in shifts in my house. So his girlfriend would stay one night, pregnant girlfriend would stay the next night. The boy math ain't mathin'. So we had this massive argument. Soon after that, pregnant girlfriend left the house. And then again, after she left, we had another big argument and I kicked him out as well. Done. He was calling me a bitch now because I've kicked out a pregnant girl. How is he supposed to support her? I don't know, Steve. That sounds like something you should have come up with before. So what do you think? Am I wrong here?